All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Hoping this holds up here. We canceled the procedure. I was getting a weird feeling about it. And I told him about the medicine I was using. And I said, I feel better. And I said, it has aspirin in it. And he started thinking about it. He said, well, aspirin can be a risk factor. But he said, I feel comfortable enough to do the procedure. Right? But, and he said, I've done them plenty of times with aspirin. It's fine, but a colleague said he heard that somebody took even like a baby aspirin and it caused a problem, which is very rare, but it can. He said, I feel comfortable with it, but he said the bigger problem is that if I inject you and your neck locks up from the steroid, because that's a risk that it gets worse. He said, I'd feel horrible because you're feeling okay. Right. And then he told me the trigger point, he doesn't use steroid. And I'm thinking, that's the problem. Because he says he needles it. And because he read that needling, statistically has the same outcome with less complications. But because I don't take an anti inflammatory, that I was going to use it for the anti inflammatory part of it. Correct. But he said, if you feel bad in a couple of days, just call me. We'll work something out. And he said, but I don't want to use up one of your procedures if down the road, you get real bad. We, you know, need to use that. You only get so many a year. Mm. And it's a cervical epidural, which is a little more risky than a radial. I mean, a lumbar epidural because the space is smaller. But he finally said, "This is where it is. If you were seeking care and the way you feel today, would you seek this procedure?" I'm like, no. I mean, because it's not. It's the other stuff seems to be working. Right. Like this crystal star stuff, I took when I got to Espanola, I think. I don't think the dude told me about it that I live with, but he was like, "Yeah, I use that." Right. I found it on Amazon or something like that. It's amazing stuff. I'm sad I didn't use it for the last 5 years, where I could have, even before that. Right. I imagine everything I ever used, they cursed off. 100%. They simply powered up. I don't know if they powered me down as much as they powered up. I still heal things that they don't know about, generally. Right. And then also, I said, we're massaging the cranial tissue, which I think was a trigger to cause the neck to cramp up. I just, like, right before he did that, like, he came in, I started feeling weird about it, like at the last minute. Like, really, like, intuitive weird. And then he was like, well, because it used to be 2 weeks to a procedure. Now it's a month because they expanded his neuropepalices or something. Right. So now it takes a month to get to that procedure room. Anything can happen in a month. Right. Correct. Fortunately, my insurance doesn't pay for massage. Well, I got to get to the VA on that. So I got to call the VA and see if they'll pay for massage. But he like we were got in there. I took my glasses off, my shirt off, and then he came in. So let me see, what is this thing you're taking again with the aspirin? And then he got an intuitive feeling. I'm sure of it. He didn't say it, but right. I was just feeling like no, I shouldn't be doing it. Could be insurance company saying, look, if you don't need it, don't do it. Well, I actually would prefer a lumbar door if it would work over a. Yeah, it's still tighten up a little bit at night, but again, I just started that medicine and it's already working. Like, I don't know what it is, but ibuprofen does not work for me. I actually read that you can have a kind of a rebound from ibuprofen, reverse effect. Nah, I just have a problem with these procedures, but there was something that just like no, don't do it. Maybe it was them. Maybe they got in his head too. I don't know. But I'm like, I even fell asleep in the chair, which I could never do. And my chest, chin was tucked into my chest, and there was no. I mean, I couldn't even do them. I'd be like kind of stiff. Right. So sad I couldn't get to this 5 years ago. This crystal star stuff, and then also the other type of massage. Hey, some of the devils are repentant. No, they freaked out. I think they're freaking out my massage therapist. I don't know how to read it. So my brother, his opinion is anything a cop does is okay, but he sold me out before, so it don't matter. Right. But so I said that to my therapist, and as soon as I said, yeah, my brother's like everything a cop does is right no matter what it is. Because again, they gunned their vehicle at me when I was in. They tried to fear. I was broadcasting, so they bring in these operators, like 3 or 4 guys. I don't know if they're suited up. I can't remember, but they definitely had guns. They went inside to try to freak me out. They went inside again. I got PTSD and panic attacks and doing this, right? So they go in and they're sitting in the hotel, and I keep broadcasting while I wave to them, everything. At first, I didn't know it was a scam, right? Got a helicopter overhead. So then the PD though, they can't they can't refrain from doing something screwy to say, hey, yeah, it's about you, right? So I'm broadcasting, and the PD dude guns his vehicle at me, and at the last minute swerves. Right? Saying it's you. Because I was walking, one of the deputies came outside, and he I cursing me, and I'm like thinking maybe not. Right? But just as I said that, I don't know what it was, but it seemed like it affected my massage my therapist a little bit, because the whole thing shuts down for like a second. It goes black, the screen, and then it comes back on. It looks like it might be affecting her a little bit. It is what it is. But it's like my brother wants me to like it's not happening. I'm like bullshit. They came in, they took some stuff. I bitch about it, and they bring it back. Not because they like me, because they're messing with my head. Look, we got behind your locked space, that kind of thing. Like, I mean, there's no way that that's not happening. I'm not like taking it myself and replacing it and so far gone that I don't realize I'm doing that. Right. A steroid, epidural steroid could irritate the nerves and then could lock my neck back up again. Right. Yeah, like I should have been using this all along. And probably would have been okay. The white willow bark is a weaker aspirin. So he said, I'm not totally freaked out about that, but mm. But he's like, I don't want to use the procedure. He says they're pretty good at the time frames. Day 61, no. Day 62, yes. Do whatever you want. But his thing was, he'd hate to do it and then make it worse. And then he said there is a risk factor. Not that he's like, there's risk factor in everything he does, but not that he's totally freaked out about it. But again, there's all that adds up to let's just cancel it for today. Right. Like I told him I wanted a trigger point. Now he's saying he doesn't use trigger point steroids. He just needles it with some medicine. Right. But that's not going to work. See, if that's what he did, that's why it didn't work my plan. My plan was to introduce steroids for the overall massage because it goes in, right, and then also the allergies, right. Thank you, Larry. They may have changed it. I don't know. I don't know. All my cameras are triggering. And like the people that worked there weren't too happy, but I said, it's only in the last 5 days I started getting better, and really the last 2 days where it really released. And I'm not even taking a full dose. You're supposed to take 2. I'm taking 1 twice a day. And that's really a minimal dose. Really sad that something like that works and I couldn't get to it. Again, they're cursing me and they just stopped. You see, it's trying to figure out what the dosing is. It says 2 doesn't say. That's weird. I don't know if that's daily or what. If I remember, I thought before it was like, you take it like aspirin, but like you take it, 1, 2 every so many hours. Maybe I am taking full dose. But I took that in Espanol, messed up. Very sad I couldn't get to it before this. That's why they shouldn't exist. There's no doubt they did what I say they did. Correct. Hello. Well, there it is. It locked up. There is take 2 capsules every 4 to 6 hours as needed. I'm taking 1 capsule, like 12 hours apart, kind of. Okay. Well, I got a way to go. Like I couldn't hold phones in both hands. Like I'm holding my phones in my both hands. I'm moving my neck around. I couldn't do that. It would like trigger everything. It was very scary that I couldn't find this being that I used to before. Should have just came up in my mind. Right. It's probably what happened. I stopped taking aspirin. Right. I swore about the stuff. The doctor's like, no, you should take something different. I would definitely take like a 300 milligram. I mean, like they like berated me like I was stupid for taking aspirin. That's kind of Satan thing. No, my back's like relaxed, and I use some other stuff. I use actually today. I don't know if I used anything else. Yeah. Problem is that you can't get anybody to pay for that stuff. But I was getting this weird feeling about the procedure, and then he got the weird feeling. Correct. Oh my God. Correct, Larry. I mean, it sucks so bad that I couldn't think of it like 5 years ago to try that. Like I was leaving it on all sevens. We came back; it was on all threes, but I could have absentmindedly did that. Well, because I had to go in there for I got at the end something weird happened, and I had to go in there and do something. Hopefully, I bounce back. And who knows? It could have made me sick, so I couldn't get to the baptism.
So yeah, they were. The sheriff's deputy focused his vehicle on me, and he just. Because I wasn't reacting to it. So I was like, yeah, it is about you. Because what I did is I went in and I said, you guys need help with something? I can help you. Or maybe I can help you. I said, no, it's fine. Boy, I hate boy. Because I hit boy, like they call black guys boy, it's an insult. Right, so the curse is still there. Massage therapist yesterday was a black guy, and he was cursed horribly. It was just weird all the way through. So I'm like, I'm seeing all this like weird stuff, and I'm laying on my stomach while it goes my back and stuff, my legs, and then like I get to turn over, and it's just like weird. Everything was weird in there. And he throws like a towel over my eyes. I'm like, ugh. But yeah, I was like, okay, right, whatever it is. Now, some people definitely wouldn't like that, but I'm like thinking, I'm not going to push that button. But it's like, oh yeah, I got to see you or something. I'm like, I don't want to be weird. But that was kind of weird. I mean, he's got strength though. Like we were in Leewood, but it seemed like down to earth people. Usually Leewood has like an upper crust kind of feel to it, and the whole mall kind of does. The place you go there to eat and everything. But that place was like totally down to earth, which I appreciate. And a woman came out, and she was like, the other lady said, "How did it go?" She pressed me into the table, and that was someone else. So I guess they right. But she said, yeah, I told her to do it. But I guess in there they do pretty heavy-handed massages, right? Thank you, Larry. So I got to put together the paperwork to request the extra $100 from Blue Cross Blue Shield. But I don't get it because the ashwagandha I purchased is really a low dose ashwagandha. Right. Hmm. So like I said, I got no idea what happened to the ashwagandha that was out there. But I mean, that's what kept me sane throughout Santa Fe. Right. Comes a weed whacker dude whacking the weeds. I guess they cut some of the grass today. You just like races through it though. Really ain't that detail oriented. I know he was looking at me while I was standing there like I wanted something or something. Thank you, Mary. Well, apparently, I mean, whatever it is. But apparently, these floaters can heal. Sometimes it takes a few months. Right. Just got to monitor it, and I got an appointment. I really appreciate it. Actually, there was supposed to be one before that. There should have been one right when I came out of that hospital. They were all dead on me. Right. Where it is by now. It's probably having a much better life over here. Right. Won't end up on the road. Right. So I saved a turtle. We got like a still creek that is behind. Like when it rains, all the runoff goes on it, but or through it. But, yeah, like I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. Hold my phone in my right hand like this. Yeah, I can't hold my phone. I couldn't hold my phone and all that. I have reverberations in my neck and back and everything. Like just at this level, like face level. So that's nice that works. How you doing? Good. How are you? All right. Are you from New Mexico by chance? No. Oh, I saw the Xeon. I thought it was your vehicle.
Yeah, I lived there though.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I lived there for a while. I was in Santa Fe.
Yeah, I know where that's at.
Interesting place, right? Just the Medusa. It took everything I had to not go homeless. Maybe it'd been better if I did. I don't know. Right. I wish I'd have done something like that when I was younger. Got a vehicle and a trailer or a camper. I was thinking about it, but I just, my mind couldn't see it. Right. Let me go see what's in my mail. got my welcome packet from. I got to focus on getting that work done for them. Then I got to reschedule the VA. That's where I messed up. I should have just stayed in the VA system, go to doctors, do my insurance when necessary. I should have just stayed in the VA system. They'd have probably sent me notices, and I'd have went for hearing tests and more physicals and things. I had, but I never read these and stuff. Actually, yeah, I'm kind of probably getting the stuff I should have got 5 years ago at least. Let's see. Something's changing, but it isn't like it's great or anything. Correct. Oh, I got to go change my hearing aid thing. Like the one spot where I still have problems, I don't think that's cervical. Well, like I told this guy, I told the massage therapist that around the back, like heel cup of my left leg, that I had an issue. And I mean, and I told other people about that, and I told like podiatrists about it. I told all these people about it. So that guy yesterday just does this. He just like I don't know. He just rubbed it a little bit, and now like it seemed like it's working. It's gone. There's like a pain in it. Let's see if it comes back. I mean, I could still feel a little bit of tightening, but not like before. It's like crazy before. I was going to change the wind suppression on my hearing aids, but I'm on. Uh, when I'm on here, it doesn't allow me. I'm on because it goes into a different mode. It goes into the Bluetooth streaming mode. It'll cut it all off, but there won't be anything else but just Bluetooth streaming, which will be nothing. No, I couldn't I couldn't like fall asleep in a chair. I'd be in too much pain. I mean, 100% stiff. Like I had a rod in my spine already. Right. So I'm sure that Crystal Star Inflamma Relief is part of it. I don't even know why I didn't take aspirin. I almost got to it before, and I got sidetracked, and I bought Motrin or something when I got sick. Right. So that may have actually helped my hearing not go and all that. Right. They know what they're doing. I mean, they're corrupt. They make people, devils and stuff. That's how they do it. Right. But I mean, it's pretty magical compared to the way it's been. And then, of course, I'm finding some better massage techniques. Like the muscle relaxer didn't work. That made me sick as hell. I never did take that much the first. I don't even think I took it the first time. I bought it. Right. Now my hips are definitely more level bilateral. It's just the left side still needs to strengthen some more. And maybe something's triggering it that I can get the finish and not be in the middle there. There's some other stuff like Inflamma X. I don't know what's in that one. Yeah, I used to get all this stuff. I can't believe I couldn't get to this stuff. Here's one put out by Irwin Naturals. Inflamma Less. The opposite of Inflamma More. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't. Oh, it's a couple of Boswellia serrated didn't help me that much, believe it or not. I'm sorry. Thanks, Larry. If I remember, like Crystal Star is definitely a nature path thing, right? Like nature paths use that. Doctors that also do the nature path thing. That's more money. I hate when that happens and it reloads on its own. They used to call it anti-inflam. It's not just what the symptoms require. Dot dot dot. It's more of what you need. I think it used to be called anti-inflam. Right. I can't believe I haven't used this. Hmm. Ah, something's fighting us. That's weird. It says $5 3-day delivery. It doesn't have that. Yeah, like 18. I don't see it. Yeah, I felt like the procedure was going to be canceled as soon as a certain point. And then when he came in, I'm like, yeah. I felt bad. I said, not he's like cool, but the people that worked there were kind of like, eh. Right. I said, I apologize, but I didn't start getting better till 5 days ago, and really like 2 days ago. Right. But they don't. It looks like they don't sell it on Amazon, which is, maybe I ordered from Amazon before and they canceled. Right. The team of idiots. Well, they could be hiding it from me. Maybe know to do that. If I had the money, I'd go to get a massage twice a week. I can use another one soon. Find exactly the best way to purchase this. All right, where am I?
Right. He says Republican senator pushes bill to make all porn criminal. That's not. I don't think that's what Bill Lee said. He said certain porn. I think it's the extreme content. Well, I'm trying to say it's all porn. I think it's he said extreme porn. Right. I got to return those glasses to Amazon. Amazon. See, it says here extreme content, and then they're like, but they're saying somewhere else that it's all porn. So I'm gonna try to Google it somewhere else.
Well, actually, maybe I'm not sure still at this point because it could be that they're scumbag. Yeah. Right. Okay. Wait a minute. Are you trying to stop all pornography online? You can't. You're not gonna be able to do that. Right. But you can say that you want it uh, better regulated, I guess, which means not available to certain groups. I mean, you would make all pornography a federal crime, but it's like a waste of an effort if that's what you're doing. Right. you, over, you overdo it. Right. See, they say they have allowed extreme pornography to saturate American society, but then it looks like that that's not really the gist of the bill. I agree. I'm not sure what it is. See, when you go to do that, you can't really legislate. I thought I brought this up before. Right? We because the last time they tried that, it never went anywhere. So you like waste your time. You have to like try to figure out how to get something forward. Right? Okay. Well, if you go too far, then you get nothing forward. It's a pretty simple concept. Agreed, Larry. Not gonna pass. It's like a waste. Right? Thanks, Larry. Well, you can try to regulate certain types of pornography, like I do on X. Anything that depicts a criminal activity, even if it's like even if it's a just a representation of theater or whatever. So like if it's a rape scenario, you ban that. If it's a violent scenario, you ban that. I mean, you're gonna have to allow some S and M, but you might be able to curb, put limits on it. Right? But if you try to ban all of it, you'll get nowhere. Right? I agree with you. I think about some of the cartoons that I saw on X. That some of it does probably depict minor children. I didn't catch it last time I was on there. Well, again, that's one of those things. How do you prove it's a minor child? But I would think maybe it is. Trump and MBS out $1 trillion pledges. Details remain elusive. I think they stressed. Somehow she's all of a sudden stressed out. We discussed medication, and she said, if you're not seeking medication, then it's not going to work because you're not going to take the medication, right? And then she said, as to whether medication works, who knows, right? But here you're seeking to overcome the effects of whatever it is, and that's almost like that's fine, right? Right. Yeah, that was like the worst thing could ever happen is that they stuck me in that freaking place. And I told her, I said, I really did get injected with whatever drug they injected me with for reading the Bible. It really happened. I mean, they're trying to erase my whole freaking life and what happened in the last freaking probably 35 years, but definitely the last 20 years, right? No, there's no doubt. And I know that's one of the things they were trying to do. Stop me from reading the Bible. Sickos. Marshal Service sickos. Right. Again, you're not going to try to convince me who I am. I know who I am. And I know what I've done. And I know what's happened. And not once. I think it was twice. So like my first day in there is I wake up and I think I had my Bible. Right. And I forgot what I said to the dude. And he's like, oh, they don't like that. I'm like, what? I swear to God. Right. So again, my hearing probably wasn't even the best back then. He must have heard me talking about Jesus. I wasn't trying to be loud or anything. And I was talking to him about the Bible and Jesus or something, a couple of people. And next thing I know, like 6 or 7 people come and jump me, inject me, and I fall asleep. They take me in a room, check me in the derriere, and I fall asleep. It happened like twice at least, if not 3 times. I tried to sue him, but of course, ACLU ain't worth a shit. Right. And like my mother, she got rid of the dude that convinced her to do it, but the damage was done. What she did, she puts me in there. Next day, she tries to get me out of there. Right? They're like, no.
That's why it was so crazy when I finally just got rid of it. He kept calling. When are you gonna let him out? And then she said, "Yeah, I could tell a lawyer that it was BS, right? Because we're going to try to get it expunged." And I wasn't committed or anything; it was just a whole. But I'm sure they got bullshit in the file, right? I told the doctor, I said, "Look, my mother's been on medicine for 30 years. This is not real." She essentially she's trying to lock. Like my brother goes, "Well, you had that thing. That was like 2 weeks before. Nothing's happened since then. I mean, it was even probably more than 2 weeks. It's probably like 3 weeks, right? So you can't lock somebody up for something that happened 3 weeks ago when they're perfectly fine and schedule an appointment with the doctor within the next few days, right? I still don't know what they said, what they alleged, but it was bullshit. I said to my mom, I said, "You know what you said is bullshit." And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'd like you to talk to a lawyer and let's get this worked out." Right. Of course, the deep state attacked my life. Right from the beginning, I'm starting out on my spiritual journey of awakening. I realized what everything was about, and then I saw these people, like, because I know my family scumbagged me. Okay, I know 100% I was scumbagged by my mother and this wacko dude that came in, gave her good feeling. A good feeling enough for her to give up her credit cards and let him go shopping. And then when I get out of the place, I said, "You shouldn't have done that. That was," she goes, "I know." I said, "You can't trust that guy." She goes, "I know." And then she's like, I replaced my credit cards, replaced all my credit cards. Oh, it's just like the FBI women that they did to me. They made me feel good, and then act, you got nothing better to do than torment a disabled guy. What sickos? So it is what it is. Oh wait, this thing's not. Is my audio working? What the hell? They're hacking me. They're hacking me. They're hacking me. That sound good in your headphones? They're hacking me. The other good Christians like, oh, this pains me. A gay person's getting married. We're being oppressed. Oh, woe is me. So yeah, try getting jumped and injected for reading the Bible or speaking about Jesus to some fellow members that were in there with me. But the part is, like, there were some women in there, and I think their family scumbagged them. Right. Like it's drama. Like they put it in your family. It's like drama for you. Some families be like, hell no, my son have to try to kill me before I do anything like that. Right. But it's like this drama. And I'm like, I can't believe he did it. But like these people that had it happen to him before. That's why I got out of New Jersey as quick as I could too, because there's people that had it done to them, and then when it gets done like the second time, I guess maybe they got committed both times. I don't know, right? Because my mother kind of recanted. She didn't want nothing to do with it after a certain period of time. Like I think the next day, right? So, right. Oh my god. Well, I'm sure that like the state was calling and stuff, or the feds. So there was like something going on, right, behind the scenes.
100%. So, but they like go away for like 6 months, man, and they were like crying. I'm like, oh, such a good looking woman. I mean, just an average cute woman, but you know how I am. Yeah, I'm like, so again, there's a scam. There's a mental health scam going on in Jersey. Probably still there. Although Jersey might listen to me actually, because what is it? What's this guy? What's the guy's name? Like the mayor or the attorney general, I think, outlawed those, hunt the pedophile thing if it isn't real law enforcement. Right? That's what should happen everywhere. But they're just scamming you. You have no idea what they're doing. Of course, maybe you do and you don't care and you're part of the scam, right? Boy, Diddy had a weird thing. Look, Diddy, the whole time they're trying to do shit to me, Diddy's over there like 300, no, I would say, look at like half a mile away from where I am as the crow flies on that island. You can see the island from like my window, I think. You can definitely see it from like about 50 feet from my window was like the edge of Biscayne Bay. Right. Star Island. You can see Star Island if I'm not mistaken. Right. I mean, that's going on over there. But meanwhile, they're going to try to scumbag me because Rick Henry calls them. Inspector Rick Henry called them. So now they're going to dedicate their officers to me, right? See, that's part of it, really, right? To show you what bullshit it was and is. All this stuff that's coming out after the fact, like the ghost secret society, pedophile hunters in New Mexico. Right? Turns out they're just wackos. I knew they were. They were all wackos. The CIA puts them up to it, or people like that. Private contractors like the CIA. That's why I don't have any time for Project for Veritas and that Looney Tune that was running it. It's all set up, most of it. It's not real. Yeah, Christian's freaking out because gay people are getting married. Oh, we're being tortured. Oh my God. Here I'm being jumped in New Jersey for preaching Christ crucified to my fellow detainees, I guess, or whatever they call that. I was probably the only guy that got released. Everybody else is like being shipped out. Well, my mother's a Looney Tune, man. She didn't even stop, like, because they're in her head. You understand? So, like, and then also the other dude was there. But she called the cops a couple of times, and I'm like, what are you doing? I was like 20 minutes late to bring in her car home because I went and bought Indian food so I could make food for her. Like a special meal for letting me borrow a car. But it's like, I mean, we don't live that life. You know what I mean? Don't call you cops on your son. 100%, Larry. So they get there, and they're like, at that. I think that was one of the last times she did it, but she did it like, no, I don't think she did it again. Oh, she did it one more time, I think. Or no, that was a neighbor or something. Maybe it's probably a deep state dude, right? That they moved in. Like they moved in a deep state dude into the uh, condo place where I was living. You know that, right? But the cops are like, you can't keep doing this. Can't keep calling us.
Like I come home and I'm like, oh, I'm home and I got all this stuff. And I think I was out. I think I was looking for a used vehicle or something. I forgot what I was doing. Right. And it's like I'd be back by 2. I was back by 2:20 or something, you know. We didn't have phones back then. We didn't have cell phones. I was like, okay, and I bought this stuff from the Indian store. I'm gonna make you something to eat. And she goes, I was like, what? You think I called the police? I said, for what? You're late with the car. What are you doing? Don't do that. I thought something was wrong. You called the police. What's wrong? Thanks, Lou. Oh, we don't live that life. You put that in her head, and you'll go to hell for it. Believe me. Like, what are you doing? So the cops came in. I actually, it was pretty dangerous because the cop was like, okay, let's go outside. I said, okay. And we're going down the steps, and like the dude had like a flash in his head. Like I was like, what was that? Oh, like got shaky Jake. And I'm like, as I was coming down the steps behind him, like I was going to jump him or something. And it's like all of you in this head again, right? So he turned around and shoot me, right? And that's why I think he was like, nah, you can't keep doing this, right? Because he got freaked out because we were going outside and like I'm a heavy dude, I'm trotting down the step behind him. And it's like boom, 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 boom. He's like, whoa. He got shaky Jake. And then he was like, you can't do this. You can't do this anymore. You can't just keep calling us. And then when I told her that like she can't get mad at the people that worked at the place where my father died, I was like, it was inevitable. And she goes like, oh, I'm calling the police. And she picks up the phone in Naples. I'm like, no. And then I told her, look, I'm going to go to Colombia. I'm gonna find I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna maybe find a woman there to marry, and it's not sure thing. I'm just being nice, and I'm telling you, in 2 months, I might go to Colombia, you know, South America, and then that woman will come home with me, and she'll help me take care of you. It'll be easier for me, right? And she's like, get out of here! No, you leave. So, like, of course, I'm hard of hearing, so and then my voice echoes. And I think the dude that called was probably a setup by then. I mean, by then they must have had deep state in there, right? I mean, that's why God moved me on. But so the cop comes and accuses me of not being hard of hearing and stuff. That's why I think somebody scumbagged the thing. Could have possibly scumbagged the VA thing. Believe me, they're that detailed at what they do. Right. Say, oh, he can still hear, 100%. So I'm telling the cop about what happened, and he just gets this shit-eating grin on his face. I'm like, what? So I don't know if he's like, oh, I can give this to the feds and they'll put me on their task force. I've got information. Because I told him, I said I was going to go to Colombia. I was thinking of going to Colombia and meet this woman and bring her back maybe and help take care of my mother. And he gets this stupid grin on his face. I mean, go figure, right? Thanks, Larry. So my mother says, "Oh, I want him to leave it," and the cop should have said I had residential rights, actually, but they weren't going to tell anyone, right? I had or residency rights, right? So I go out to Orlando, lived there for a while, and got dogged out there and all that shit with them. Treat me like doo doo. Right. So then I'm planning to go to California, but I'm gonna stop at my mom's for a short period of time and say hello, right, before I go. And I get there and she's laying in bed. Nice, Larry. So I stayed like a dummy. Stayed like a dummy in Naples and got sick. Right. If I had just moved out to California, it'd have probably been a much better life. Right. I was gonna go live in this. The guy had beds with right by a rail trail type of thing that led down to Newport Beach. I forget how far he was, like a mile or something. So I'd ride my bike down to the beach. Correct. That I stayed in shitty Naples and ended up in shitty Santa Fe. Where's the dust storm warning? El Paso, dust storm warning. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, rain starting. Deming, New Mexico, dust storm. Heat advisory at Eagle Pass. I check weather on certain places when I have to do it. All right, that's it. Stay peaceful.